Welcome back for the second segment of Trips and Traps, the February 4th Trips and Traps. Andy Serling, Eric Donovan.
3 more races to do, and we will hit one more race from Saturday before we move on to Sunday's card. And the race we'll do from Saturday is the 6th race, a maiden claimer for New York breds. 50,000 the tags, 3-year-olds in action here. We're looking at the 4 JELLO shot, a first-time starter from the Dave Duggan barn.
Yeah, and we'll show the head on there where he doesn't really come out that cleanly and then gets really whacked by the horse outside of him and loses all chance. So we'll go right to the pan and we'll show you what happens. And I feel, and Eric I think agrees, or I know he agrees, that JELLO shot ran possibly a winning race without this kind of trouble and ran a lot worse on paper than he actually did in reality.
Yeah, the start takes JELLO shot certainly out of whatever position he would have had early on in the race here. Comes up and starts to make a little move, and really, doesn't start to make a big move until I guess probably around more near the half-mile pole, as we're about the 5/8 right now. So just kind of outside there, barely on the screen in the black and red silks and disappearing from the picture right now. But JELLO shot will come back on with a good run, make about a 3 or 4 wide run around the turn before tiring here. What I like about JELLO shot though is that he does tire in the stretch, and you're going to see him highlighted right there. Does tire in the stretch, which means that he's not top 3. He's going to have a big margin of finish between him and the winner. And these horses are horses you can bet back on next time at a little bit of a price, I think, sometimes. I
agree. When you're watching first-time stars, it's very important to see them do things like JELLO shot's doing. Not only did he lose all position at the start, he makes this big slingshot run, and he's at least 4 wide, maybe even 5 wide, making this run. And for a first-time starter, you can see a horse getting in trouble inside of him, to have made this kind of run, I think it was pretty impressive the way he ran. And I like the fact, as you said, that he finished well back in here. And whether he would have won or not, I don't know, but he showed me that he has the ability to win a race, and I'm happy to bet JELLO shot the next time he runs.
The winner, Carter Store, did go wire to wire in here, and a horse that we had been talked about a little bit before. Slevin comes with a finish on the inside here, gets beat actually by Brock and Roll for the place spot. So Carter Store wiring the fielder, but I like JELLO shot there moving forward.
Brock and Roll also is the horse who had a little trouble in the stretch, but he was getting in trouble having a good trip before that. Right. JELLO shot, that's the one we're going to get the money with the next time he runs.
Second race on the segment is what we think is a little bit of a trap. It's a 3-year-old maiden special weight from Sunday. It was race number 6. The one horse Driven by Fear breaks a little bit slowly here.
Yeah, I think people are going to see the horse broke slowly, made this big run in the race, and is going to be dramatically overrated. Driven by Fear, for my money, has run okay in some races, but has had good setups in them, and he's just the kind of horse that doesn't get things done. And this race, even though he broke a little slowly, as we'll see when they head into the first turn, he's able to save all the ground, and this was a race that absolutely collapsed.
It did collapse. The pace setter Storm Door was off to a quick lead here, opens up about 2.5, 3 lengths, and we're going to see toward the back of the pack we see Driven by Fear highlighted here. But the Storm Door gets off to this quick pace here, and running in second right now is another horse that's going to be nowhere to be found, Precursor, who was one of the favorite, was the favorite in this race at just over 2-1 here. So pace collapse here definitely would look like it would help a horse like Driven by Fear, even though he did have that slow break there. Still to be that far behind off a pace is going to collapse, I think that's a good thing here.
Yeah, Weekend Action's actually the horse finishing, that's sitting third now and finishes third, and Precursor, something had to happen to run this badly. And Majoud, the winner of the race, who was an incredibly heavily bet Kieran McLaughlin horse, who had been basically eased in his only start and took a ton of money, a close second choice. He's sitting second to last in the screen now, and just, I don't even think he was particularly impressive. I just think he took advantage of the fact that this race completely fell apart at the end. And as we said before, Driven by Fear, even though he had the trouble at the start, saved all the ground. He likes to make the one run from behind. You're going to see him splitting horses pretty soon in the sort of orange and blue silks. And there's Majoud, he's 3-4 wide here, but Richie's saving a little bit of ground, and there's Driven by Fear moving between horses. But for my money, Majoud had a good setup in this race, and Driven by Fear is going to be dramatically dressed up after this race.
We'll watch them as they come down to the finish here. Majoud in the familiar Shadwell silks, and obviously Driven by Fear in the orange and blue silks. And who do you look to bet coming forward in this race here? I think maybe Weekend Action ran the best race out of any of the top 3 finishers.
Well, at least he was near the pace, though. He did save all the ground after the first turn when he angled in and come through in there. You know what? I'm looking for a new face when this crew gets together. I can't wait to bet against Driven by Fear. I'm looking for new horses. I don't know if I want anybody out of this race, to be perfectly honest.
I agree with you 100%. One more race to do, and that is the 9th race from Sunday. We're going to take a look at Stylish Tiger, who was bet down to favoritism. A lot of scratches before this race. So Stylish Tiger goes off the 2-1 favorite in this race. I thought Stylish Tiger was going to show some speed. Stylish Tiger does not get off to a great start here, and things just don't really progress from this point on.
Yeah, and there you see, I mean, maybe the bad start is what compromised him being involved in the pace, but it was a pretty contentious pace in here. And actually, I would elevate horses who were near the front in this race, but sometimes we want to show a favorite that didn't perform and try to figure out why. And you can see Stylish Tiger way out in those blue silks. He is easily 6 wide in there, and we're going to go to the head-on because you can't see him on the pan. And he just ends up sitting out in the 6 or more path the entire backstretch. Cece Lopez makes no attempt to get him towards the inside. Perhaps he felt there was a problem. He doesn't. I'm not really sure what's going on, but he's sitting out in the middle of the track chasing horses. I also felt that Bayou Timbrew finished second in this race, and if you want to watch the pan yourself, we're not going to show it. He made a bit of a premature move. He's in those sort of fluorescent silks behind the lead, and he rushed up early, and Kruth took advantage of that to run him down. But of course, Stylish Tiger, well out in the track, never inside the 4 path at any point, and probably wider.
Yeah, I just don't get this. I mean, you know, I understand sometimes the speed horse taken out of his game and not getting off to a clean lead here, but you know, this horse is just wide all the way around the track. Never really makes any kind of significant move in the race, and you know, you just had to wonder what Cece Lopez was feeling underneath him. I don't know if he felt the horse might have been running a little funny, not taking great steps there, but you're going to see him way out in the center of the track here as they come to the stretch. So certainly something not quite right there with Stylish Tiger in that race. I don't think just the fact that he's still wide, still off the screen here, and just you know, things just didn't break his way. I don't know what to do with this horse moving forward.
Well, the question is, he was dropping down to $7,500 for this race, so maybe he does have. They all have issues. They're racehorses, and we're running at a cheaper level, so we understand they have issues. The interesting thing will be when and where does Stylish Tiger show up again? If he shows up relatively, you know, in the near future, the next couple of weeks in a similar spot, I'd be inclined to give him another chance for this race. I don't think they're going to run him if there's really a problem with him, but clearly either there was a problem or he just got eliminated at the start. I don't know what it was, but he was a favorite that did not perform at all.
You know what, looking back on his last race, which came back on November 7th at Finger Lakes, this was a horse that has shown speed going into that race. The comment says check start, 7 wide, 3/4 gamely. The horse only lost by a half a length, so it's not like he doesn't get off to the lead and totally quits. He can finish up after dealing with some adversity. So Stylish Tiger, we're going to have to see what happens here, and stay tuned for Talking Horses. I guess we'll give you a more up-to-date opinion when the horse is in.
You got to look and see if he shows up, and you know, maybe he's a horse that had an issue and he's not going to show up, and we won't see him again for a month or 2 months or even longer. But if he shows up in the near future, I'd be inclined to draw a line through this race and give him another chance if you think the race sets up well for him. That does it for this week's Trips and Traps. We appreciate everybody watching. Of course, we have that email address.
tripsandtraps@NYRAinc.com. We love to hear from you and see your emails, and give us some suggestions on horses you'd like us to feature here, and just general comments about the show itself. Remember, tripsandtraps@NYRAinc.com. Thanks a lot, Eddie.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Eric, and thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next week.